Alrighty, so here's my case study of when ethics and policy collide. So, thinking about the steps that we should take to ensure that others are acting safely as a principal, or sorry, assistant principal Richard, I almost thought that he was a little out of line making some of those calls because he wasn't officially principal. I actually am not, I don't know enough about the difference between the two titles. But I wanted to say first, I think it's important to get on the same page as the principal and heed his advice. Then reiterate the school-wide assemblies, I think, need to be happening a little bit more often. Maybe some DARE information in addition to outside resources, keeping that positive teenage development going. Definitely need to retouch on what the protocol looks like and the chances that you need to get legal stuff involved, especially when pulling a student out of class, as some of that could be sensitive and timely sensitive information. Maybe it's the secretary calls and then the principal walks down. Both or all sides are voiced with the parents, all sides of the stories with all of the kids. In this situation, I felt that they did not get a true chance to even talk before they got legally into trouble. So I do think that it would be wise to have that person of authority walking with them so that they couldn't get out of the situation or hiding something in their locker, per se. So, what to do when you recognize when ethics have been breached? So, as a Richard, I'm not one to really like confrontation, so I would definitely have done something different as far as having another person of authority in that same room. This makes the process kind of more thoughtful, harder to shoot from the hip with more of emotion and not thinking properly. Remember your role. You do have obviously lots of hats as an educator, but as an assistant principal, there are even more. I do think it would be important to admit to the principal that he should have been able to make that call or advice on that conversation. Ultimately, these students shouldn't have had weapons. David could have said something, could have gotten out of that situation, maybe even when he was in class before he got called down. So finally, you could argue for David if he wanted to go the very much more empathetic route, that he could have been bullied and chosen that route. Want to kind of remember that there's kind of always different routes that you could go, keeping in mind that compass. So, how do you hold yourself and others accountable for ethical behavior? I think it's just really important to remind yourself that you shouldn't really be showing personal connection all the time and favoritism. I feel like he kind of did that, always staying after school and stuff, not really making that genuine balance for all students. I've always been told that you need to keep in mind that life of a fishbowl personality, especially as an educator. At times it could be a little bit overwhelming, yet that's what you signed up for. So I think that you can show these through school rule assemblies and assignments that are school wide. Still building that positive morale, I think, is important. And also keeping everything confidential. I think that moral compass, going south real quick, you want to stay east or west or north as much as possible. Here is my diagram. I said a leader needs to be all of these things. Think about that. Then next, how do you address unethical behavior as it may adversely affect students and parents? That mom of David definitely put the assistant principal in a uncomfortable position. Yet I wish he would have said something along the lines of, either backing up the legal rules or giving her a little bit of hope instead of just leaving her empty-handed. Again, just that is a very tough situation to be in. So, keeping the personal comments to a 0 to none on your personal take in the situation, he could have very easily belittled the boy who was always in trouble, or the other one also. You need to be firm in your decision and not wishy-washy. Having others in your controversy decisions. My dog's barking because the mail's here. Enjoy that. How do you employ ethical decision-making practices regarding policies? Treat others how you wanted to be treated. I think it all goes back to the being that positive light to others, leading firmly, knowing when to ask for advice, and giving yourself grace, and being able to separate that in your head. How do you promote ethical behavior amongst your own staff and students? So putting myself into that role, again, you just want to be that person that think about the person that you go to sometimes is considered wise. So I think that the reason that is because you build trust, and those experiences that they have gets you through that. So in my reflection, I really admire where my principal has led. I'm not sure that I'm really fit to be a principal. Don't really want that for myself. I know it takes a lot of dedication, not only just emotionally, but physically, and time commitment also. I really admire a lot of principals who are leading their schools in today's age, but yeah, also the future. You have to think about that too. Only situations will continue to get a little bit more controversial as time goes on. So I want to close with the grid's not only for students, it's for teachers and administrators too. Today more now than ever. So thanks for listening.